Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvi Shavahai. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. बोले श्री सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय. ओम वसुदेव वसुतं देवं कंसचानूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानंदं कृष्णं वंदे जगद्गुरुं. कृष्णं वंदे जगद्गुरुं. सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां. वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. ॐ श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः. हरि ओम. Welcome to the 17th day of Srimad Bhagavad Gita Shravana Sadhana Yajna, happening over the last 3 months now. We are into chapter 3, almost nearing the end of chapter 3. For one more day we will see that. So yesterday, the last verse we left at was when Arjuna says, Bhagavan Shri Krishna is telling Arjuna, Yetvetu Yetvetad abhyasuyantaha na anutishtanti me matam. This is an idea that I propose, that if you follow this idea of being in the chakra of karma, in the wheel of action, in the right action, then one's own individual sins in the sense all the actions which are not good, which are causing disturbance for us in society right now, is a sin in the mind, whatever causes disturbance in the mind. So when we do the right action, the disturbances in the mind will go away. If they do not follow this, and on and over that, they want to criticize me, they want to complain about me, sarvajnana vimudhanstan, what can I say of those people? They are bereft of all knowledge. Vidhi nashtan achetasaha. They do not have chetas, they do not have viveka buddhi. Viveka means what is right, what is not right, what is the truth, what is not the truth is Viveka. Sarvajnana vimudhan. They are bereft of any kind of knowledge whatsoever. Vidhi nashtan achetasaha. And maybe Arjuna is having this question in his mind. Punakkarana tvadiyam matam na anutishtanti paradharmam anutishtanti swadharmam cha anuvartante Tvat pratikulaha katham na bibhyati tvat shasanat atikrama doshat tatra aha. Suppose Arjuna is wondering, how is it possible that we know your greatness and you are saying this, but then why do people not follow you? Why do they do something else other than their own dharma, their own duties? Why do people engage in other actions? What could be the reason? It is not expressed as a question, but Bhagavan Adisankaracharya is trying to bring out the context of the next verse. So Bhagavan Shri Krishna says in verse number 33, Sadrisham cheshtate swasyaha prakritir jnanavanapi prakritim yanti bhutani nigraha kim karishyati. Sadrisham cheshtate swasyaha prakritehe sadrisham. Sadrisham means on an equal plane. Equal plane with what? Of one's own prakriti. What is one's own prakriti? Prakriti is the 3 gunas, the mind composing of the 3 gunas, and the quality of that mind is based on the actions of dharma and adharma done by that person. The person, whatever actions he has done in the past, whether it is a dharmic action. Dharmic means completely for the welfare of others. No selfish interest in one's own self, but doing one's own duty and serving the world for the welfare of others is dharmic action. Adharmic action is trying to manipulate the world, trying to manipulate the resources, manipulate people to serve one's own ends is adharma. So when either of these types of actions are done, depending on that, the person gets a mind which contains the three gunas in that permutation and combination, which is sattva guna, rajo guna, and tamo guna. Sadrisham cheshtate swasyaha prakritehe jnanavanapi. Even a vidwan, even the one who knows the shastras, who has studied the shastras, will only function in this world according to his gunas. He is, just because he has studied, even in our own life, we may know the ills, we may study about the ills of drinking coffee, drinking tea, and eating fast foods and snacks, eating whatever that we are doing, whatever we think is not good, and all that we know about it, alcohol, drugs, many things we may know, but in the end, whatever is propelling me in that area only I am acting in life. Sadrisham cheshtate swasyaha prakrutehe sadrisham. Just as my prakriti is, just as my thoughts, feelings, and emotions are, my actions also follow in tune with that. Jnanavanapi, even if I may be a great jnani who has studied the Shastras, prakritim yanti bhutani, nigraha kim karishyati, prakritim yanti. So they go after their, whatever their actions are in that direction, their prakriti also follows finally. Nigraha kim karishyasi. In when what can I do by controlling the sense organs? When the mind is following its own nature and expressing through the sense organs of actions, in what way will it help to control the sense organs of perception? Sadrisham anurupam cheshtate kasyaha, whose same nature does one follow? One's own swakiyayaha prakritehe. And what is prakriti? One's own prakriti or one's own nature. What is one's own nature? Prakritihi nama purvakrita dharma adharmadi samskaraha. The impressions of the dharma and adharma. Dharma means goodness, adharma means evil actions. We have done good actions and evil actions in the past, and those impressions are there in our mind. That is what forms our prakriti. Vartamana janmadau abhivyaktaha. It is manifest in this present janma, in this present birth. Sa prakritihi tasyaha sadrisham eva sarvaha jantuhu jnanavanapi. Kim puna murkhaha. Even a jnanavan means one who has got knowledge, one who has studied, not self-realization, but knowledge about various subjects. It's a jnani, knowledge of the Vedas. That's a jnani being mentioned here. Kim murkaha, what to say of an ignorant person? Tasmat prakritim yanti bhutani nigrahaha kim karishyati mamava anyasyava. So when everything is going to follow prakriti, what is the point in controlling whether it is my senses or somebody else's sense organs? Yadi sarvaha jantuhu atmanaha prakriti sadrisham eva cheshtate nacha prakriti shunyaha kaschid asti ततः पुरुषकारस्य विषय अनुपपत्तेः शास्त्र अनर्थक्य प्राप्तौ इदम उच्यते. Just in case we don't come to the conclusion that okay, everybody follows their own prakriti, even if it is the one who has studied the shastras also follow their own nature, then what is the point in studying the shastras? Won't the words of the shastras become useless when everybody is just going to do what they are propelled to do by their own nature? So to clarify that is this next verse. Indriyasyendriyasyarthe ragadveshau vyavasthitau tayornavashamagachet tauhyasya paripanthinau. There is a note of warning here. Warning means for our own benefit and our own welfare. What happens actually when we follow our own nature? We don't live a life in tune with the Shastras, what the Shastras say. Indriyasya arthe. Every indriya, every sense organ follows its own sense object. The eyes follow forms, the ears follow sounds, the nose follows smells, the tongue follows tastes, and the skin follows its own pleasures that it experiences. And follows means the mind with its raga and dvesha, attachment and repulsion. These are the two qualities of the mind, raga and dvesha. With these two qualities, through every sense organ, the mind is expressing. But this raga dvesha, attachment and repulsion, tayoho na vasham agachet. Don't come into the control of raga dvesha. You follow the senses are under your control, you are not under the control of the senses. So tayoho na vasham agachet. Why you should not come under their control? Because tauhi asya purushasya, that individual being who is striving for liberation, paripanthi now, the raga and dvesha, the attachment and hatred for anything will become an obstacle for the growth of that particular individual in the path of realization of the truth, realization of the self. So this is a basic meaning. Indriyasya arthe. Indriyasya arthe sarvendriyanam arthe shabdadi vishaye ishte ragaha anishte dveshaha. So for all the sense organs of seeing, hearing, tasting, smelling, touching, if I like something, it is raga. If I don't like something, it is dvesha. Attachment and hatred, withdrawal. Prati indriyarthe raga dveshau avashyam bhavinau. Behind every intellect, this raga dvesha is functioning. The likes and dislikes, attachment and hatred are functioning. Tatra ayam purushakarasya shastra arthasya cha vishaya uchyate. So, what is this purushakara? The individual being and the meaning of the shastras. What are the connection? Shastrarthe pravrittaha purvam eva ragadveshayoho vasham na agachet. So those who are functioning according to the canons of the shastras, shasanat trayate iti shastra. Shastra means it's a text, it's a book of injunctions, do's and don'ts. So why those do's and don'ts? For the welfare of our own mind, the shastras provide do's and don'ts. Shastrarthe pravrittaha purvameva. Even before entering the study of shastras, the individual should have purified their minds of raga and dvesha. Raga dvesha yoho vasham na agachet. Don't come under the sway of raga dvesha. This is easier said than done. It is a constant practice. It's a day-to-day practice, going behind all the kind of thoughts that we have, the emotions and feelings that we have, the breakdowns that we go through, the meltdowns that we go through, and finding out what is the reason, what is the attachment because of which I am going through this difficulty in my life. And our raga, dvesha, or attachments and repulsions will come to light when we see that. So that is what, if you are following the words of the shastras, then don't come under the sway of raga, dvesha. Even before that, yahi purushasya prakritihi sa raga, dvesha purassara eva swakarya purusham pravartayati tada swadharma parityagaha paradharma anushtanam cha bhavati. So if one person is functioning according to their likes and dislikes, then what happens is, if I like, I do something. If I don't like, I will not do something. So if my swadharma or my duty is towards something, these verses are the ones that will help us in our career counseling also. Even in the latest, you have brain scans which can show us what side of the brain is more activated in us. That is what our prakriti shows in many many ways, and even it can show in the physical body measurements also. So what side of the activation, what side of the brain, which side of the brain, the upper region, the lower region, the left hemisphere and the right hemisphere, the side of logic, the side of out of box thinking, the side of emotions, the side of people, and the side of process. These are four. Process in the left lower hemisphere, left upper hemisphere is logic, right upper hemisphere is out of box thinking, and right lower hemisphere is people. So when which part of the brain is lighted up, all these details are now available in brain scans. But the Bhagavad Gita is talking about this Swadharma, our own very nature, what is lit up within us when we take up our work, the in that path which lights us up. You have even in this Japanese method, it's called ikigai, the four steps of choosing your own profession. People in Okinawa, in Japan, they are supposed to be living for a long number of years, sometimes 120, 130 years also. Why? Because their profession, they follow this system called ikigai, which says do what you love to do what you will be paid for, do what people demand from you, and do what which will give you which will help people, and what people want and what they are willing to pay for. So that is the Japanese method. But here Bhagavan Shri Krishna is telling, indriyasya indriyasya arthe ragadvesha vyavasthitau. Every indriya, every sense organ is engaged in functioning with the sense objects based on its own likes and dislikes. But the one who is following the Shastras, if he is engaged in raga and dvesha, attachment and repulsion, then what will he do? His swadharma or his duty may be one thing, because he has dvesha for that. He doesn't like that. He will take up something else and do. And what happens to those people? Paradharma anushtanam cha bhavati. So this is the problem in our society. So when we are meant to do something, when we are meant to do, in the sense our nature propels us towards certain types of activities, we suppress our nature and we take up something else just because we like to do it, or people appreciate that work, or it pays more, for whatever reason it may be. Then it is a conflict between one's own swadharma and paradharma. When we do our swadharma, that work will make us happy. When we do paradharma, some other work which doesn't actually belong to us, which we need not do it, we are not qualified enough to do it, then our mind will not get purified by that work. So yada punaha ragadveshau, यदा पुनः रागद्वेषौ तत् प्रतिपक्षेण नियमयति तदा शास्त्रदृष्टिः एव पुरुषः भवति न प्रकृतिवशः. So if one person is controlling this desires and hatred, pratipakshena, meaning like pratipaksha bhavana, if I feel that I am desiring for something which I know I should not desire, I desire the opposite of that. If I'm desiring to go to a movie when I have to study, then I compulsorily desire to study rather than go to the movie. So that is pratipaksha bhavana. Niyamayati. One way of controlling the senses is to follow pratipaksha. If it is going outside, bring it inside. Simple as that. And such a person, when they take up the study of the Shastras, their mind will be in tune with what they study and what they understand, and not in tune with the nature of their own physical being. Tasmat tayoho ragadveshayoho vasham na agachet yataha tauhi asya purushasya paripanthinau Shreyo margasya vignakartarau taskarau iva ityarthaha. So Shreyo marga means the best I can reach. The ultimate I can reach, the best I can reach is my Shreya. If I'm moving on that path, there will be a vigna, there will be an obstacle. They are taskara. Taskara means they're thieves that steal, that loot our attention, that loot our energy. Eva, in this, like as if they are thieves. What are the thieves? Raga and dvesha, attachment and hatred. Tatra raga dvesha prayuktaha manyate shastrartham api anyatha paradharmaha api dharmatvat anushtheya eva iti idam asat. So the one who is having raga, one who is having likes and dislikes, now he will start justifying out of likes and dislikes the, because like the previous verse can be a kind of a guarantee for people that yes, even if you're a very knowledgeable person, you're going to follow the ways of prakriti only. So it is not a blanket permission that is given here to follow the ways of prakriti. The one who has got raga and dvesha will also start to think that other than what the Shastras say, doing any other action, doing paradharma also is okay. It is only dharma because that is propelled by the raga and dvesha, the prakriti of that person. If in case you're thinking in this manner, it is not the truth, because the next verse says, Shreyan swadharmo vigunaha paradharmat swanushtitat Swadharme nidhanam shreyaha paradharmo bhayavaha. It's a very, very important verse which is being quoted from the Bhagavad Gita by many people who talk about this differences in society, the jobs that they do, the actions and the qualities that they have, and the different jobs that they do, and the different categories of people coming in society. All these subjects, they quote this verse from the Bhagavad Gita. But what Bhagavan Shri Krishna is simply saying in this is Shreyat, Shreyan, very, very uplifting and best. What is best? Swadharmaha, my own actions. Swadharma is the propulsion to do my own duties, even though it is not a blanket permission to do our duties badly, but it is just an understanding that doing my own duty is very important. Shreyan swadharmaha vigunaha. Viguna means without the right application of mind. Some dull work, sometimes it may be their own actions. People who are all working in some job or some company, they may be routinely doing it in a slipshod manner, but that is okay when considering paradharmat su anushtitat, somebody else's job. Like for example, I may be a teacher and suddenly I give up my job as a teacher and I become an administrator, because I think there is a lot of power coming from that and people are all listening to me, and it is very impressive to be an administrator, and I just start administering everything, and going about the place, bossing around, and maybe excellently functioning and doing well also in that work. But my job as a teacher is my swadharma. My swadharma is not being an administrator. Even if I don't teach well, one day or 2 days in between, somewhere there's a lapse in the performance of my duty in terms of teaching, it is okay. It is better than doing some other job that I am not cut out to do, that I am not told to do, that I am not asked to do, that I should not be doing it very well is not so great. Whereas doing one's own duty even sloppily, is great. Swadharme nidhanam shreyaha. To die doing one's own duty is much, much greater. Paradharmo bhayavaha. Taking up something else that is not suitable for me will only cause the emotion of fear to arise in me, because when we do some action for which we don't have the right knowledge, the right training, and the initiation action, the approval and the go ahead to do the action, we just take it up because we like it, and that's the only reason why we are taking up that action. Not only because we like it, for many reasons we may like certain works, that it may pay a lot of money, that it can give us a lot of contacts, it can give us a lot of power, it can give us a lot of pelf and wealth. So many reasons are there. So we take up paradharmo bhayavaha. For all these reasons, if you take up some action for which you are not cut out for, then you will be soaking in fear. There will be a lot of reason for fear. Because what is that fear? The fear of naraka, the fear of sin, the fear of a disturbed mind, the fear of a mind that is not very quiet, that is filled with desires and anxieties and worries. So that is the fear. Shreyan prashasya taraha swaha dharmaha swadharmaha vigunaha api vigata gunaha. Even if my own duty is bereft of the good qualities, like for example, there was this story of Dharma Vyadha in the Mahabharata. Dharma Vyadha was a great jnani, he was a knower of the truth, but he continued to do his work. He was a butcher. So when you say butcher, like suppose somebody is in the path of self-realization, you expect that person to be in a very noble job where they don't harm animals and all that. But he was doing the job of a butcher. He continued to do the job of a butcher because that is his swadharma. That is what his family has been doing, and he has been doing that work since his childhood, and even after realization he is continuing with that work. So there is nothing high or low about any work. Whatever is our swadharma, we do it. Shreyan prashasya taraha swaha dharmaha. So one's own duty is very great. It is worship worthy to do one's own duty, even if it is considered not so good an action to be done. Anushtiyamanaha paradharmat su swanushthitat sadgunyena sampaditat api. Even with good qualities, you give all your good qualities and all your energy and do some action very well which you are not supposed to do, it is not so good, it's not so great. Swadharme sthitasya nidhanam maranam api shreyaha. The one person who is standing in his swadharma. For example, Duryodhana, when he was fighting the Mahabharata war, in the end, Duryodhana was praised by the Devas. There was a shower of flowers when Duryodhana went into the Stambha Vritti. He went underwater, he hid himself, and he did this pranayama of Murchavastha, controlling his breath for a long time. Nobody could search. Bhima was searching for him to finally finish with Duryodhana, and Duryodhana just went into water. And when finally Duryodhana came out and Bhima hit him below the belt, and as he had promised that he is going to break his thighs, which is not the swadharma in warfare, which Bhima should do. There was a rain of flowers on Duryodhana, which was very embarrassing for Bhima, because all this time they were all thinking they were very great people and Duryodhana was evil and all that. But at that point of time, the Shastras and this whole universe, it is not like one time I am good and always I get a certificate of being good. Moment to moment we are tested in life, and moment to moment we get reactions from the universe for whatever actions we do. Swadharme paradharmaha. So the what is this? Duryodhana was doing his swadharma of fighting well in the battlefield, and that is why he went to heaven also. Swadharme nidhanam shreyaha. So if you die in the battlefield doing your dharma, then it is much, much greater than doing somebody else's dharma, doing somebody else's duty. That is doing somebody else's activities, even if it is discharged very well, it is not going to, it is going to give us naraka. Naraka means repeated birth in the human body. Nara means human, ka means space, human space, being born again in human space. Bhayam avahati yataha. It brings the fear of rebirth. Paradharme sthitasya jivitat swadharme sthitasya nidhanam maranam api shreyaha. So how is it that for the one who is in paradharma, who is doing paradharma, who is doing some other duty, uncalled for work, and still continuing to live, and the one who is engaging in one's own duty and they die, which is better? Why is it so? Yadyapi anarthamulam. So Arjuna is asking earlier, dhyayato vishayan, when Arjuna is asked, suppose Arjuna is asking this question, dhyayato vishayan pumsaha ragadveshau asya paripanthinau iti cha uktam vikshiptam anavadharitam cha tad uktam. So it looks like earlier in the chapter 2, dhyayato vishayan pumsaha sangasteshu upajayate sangat sanjayate kamaha kamat krodho vijayate. So contemplating on an object will give attachment to that object. Attachment to that object will, when that object is removed, I will get anger. And when there is anger, there is delusion. When there is delusion, my memory collapses. When my memory collapses, my intellect or the steady frame of reference which I have to do any action, that is also gone. And when that is gone, everything is destroyed, was told in chapter 2. And here he says, Raga Dvesha hi asya paripantino. This Raga and Dvesha is stopping the progress, spiritual progress of a person. Vikshiptam anavadharitam cha tat uktam tat samshiptam nishchitam cha idam eva jnatum icchan Arjuna uvacha jnatehi tasmin taduchedaya yatnam kuryam iti. So Arjuna is asking a question because earlier he had heard this being said by Krishna about contemplating on one object will take us to the path of destruction. And now Krishna is again saying, you should withdraw from Raga and Dvesha and do your Swadharma. So then Arjuna is asking this question. We will see that tomorrow. That will be the last day for our chapter 3 of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Om Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha Sarve Santu Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasorma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Boliye Shri Sadgurunath Maharaj ki Jai. Har Namah Parvati Pataye. Hara Hara Mahadeva. Hari Om.